Today we're talking about Battlerite. I got a message from the developers quite a while ago asking me if I wanted to check out the game when it goes free to play and releases, and I was like, sure, why not? And boy, did I check it out. I tested this game and I have been playing quite a fair bit since, and I will definitely continue playing as well, because I really enjoyed this game so far. In this video we'll talk a little bit about what Battlerite is, and then also discuss the pros and cons of this game, where it really shines and where it maybe has room to improve. Now, first of all, Battlerite is free to play now. That's, I think, an important point to begin with. It used to be closed alpha, closed beta kind of thing where you'd have to pay to test out the game basically, but now that it's officially released, it is free to play. It's been overall very well received so far. On Steam it received a 9 out of 10 rating. Battlerite is an arena brawler with some Moba elements, I would say. It's somewhere between Smash Brothers, Smite and League of Legends. You have the reaction at times and you have the kind of skill level in terms of abilities that you want to use and reflects and counters that you want to use. That is more on the level of something like Smash Brothers or any other beat 'em up for that matter. You have the controls that are closer to Smite. You have a WASD movement and you aim with your mouse. But you also have that top-down look for one character, which you're familiar with from games like League of Legends. The movesets are also pretty much what you would expect from a MOBA. In terms of abilities, you have a lot more though. Once again, that's maybe closer to like beat 'em up games or anything like that. The game is not point and click, I like to emphasize that again. It is WASD movement, so that is a big plus in my book. Overall, the game is super fast paced. You get thrown into arena, 2v2, 3v3, and you start beating down your opponents. There are no minions, there is just one little objective in the middle that we'll talk about later, and you get right into the action. A quick word on the developer, that's Stunlock Studios, and aside of having a pretty cool name, you have probably not heard of them, unless you have played Bloodline Champions in the past. Bloodline Champions was actually the predecessor to this game, apparently had a lot of similarities, and basically, in a way, Battlerite is a reboot. I didn't dig too deep into this, but apparently Funcom was involved with Bloodline Champions and the company kinda let the game die to some degree, and Stunlock Studios wanted to do their own thing and pick it all up again in a new way, but the people behind the games are at least to some degree the same and the concept remains the same. So how do you play Battlerite? Well, in its essence, it's quite simple. You get thrown into an arena, you pick some special perks for that particular round that enhance some of your abilities, have your ally or your two allies with you, then you ride towards the opponent, maybe with a speed boost on your mount, and then you start fighting in the middle of the arena, use your abilities to try and counter out the enemy, and win the round. You have orbs on the outer sides of the ring that give you extra health or extra energy for your special abilities, and you have the energy rune or middle orb as it's called, that you have to contest and that you basically have to kill in order to get some extra health and energy. So you have to do the last hit on it, and that's pretty much the only objective you want to pay attention to. The middle orb can also be displaced, so you can pull him towards your team, and that's a strategical option that I would like to throw out here at the beginning as well, because I didn't know about it. The first team to win 3 rounds wins the entire game as a whole, so you can have up to 5 games in a row, but the games are very short and are often over in a few minutes. What I briefly mentioned before is the insane amount of abilities. You have your first ability on your left mouse, your second often ranged ability on your right click, you have some sort of escape ability on your spacebar most of the time, then you have another ability on your Q that is very often a counter ability, another ability on your E, another special energy consuming ability on your R, and then your ultimate on your F. On top of that, you also have 2 extra abilities when you hold shift. This can range from 2 abilities just having extra effects that give them a little bit of enhancement to completely different extra abilities to the ones that you already have. So you have 8 abilities to keep track of which one is typically your basic attack, the left mouse button, and all of them have relatively short cooldowns, so there's a lot going on. One of the very helpful things, especially in the beginning, is that if you click an ability and the cooldown is not ready, it will show you the remaining cooldown where your mouse is. So it will indicate how many seconds are left on that ability or even how many milliseconds. So that definitely helps you at the start when you're still learning the cooldowns. This number of abilities may sound super chaotic at the beginning, but you have a very nice way of getting introduced to them. We'll get to that in a little bit. So if you're a new player, can you just grab Freya because you realize that she has 2 hammers, jump into the arena and beat down your enemies? Yes, you can absolutely do that. I would recommend taking some steps in between though. And one of the big steps and the first big plus of this game is the tutorial. The tutorial is absolutely amazing and it will guide you through pretty much every single step of how you play the game. It starts off very lightly with the basics like movement, then it quickly gives you your first abilities, and gradually it will introduce you to different techniques in the game, different things that you can utilize, and in accordance with that you will also get more abilities. Then you start fighting bots, and then you will fight bots with your allied bot. All in all, the tutorial should take you 20 minutes to half an hour to complete, but after that you will have a very good idea of how everything works, and you will have a much better understanding and maybe even a basic muscle memory for the game already. And on that note, I'd also like to point out that they actually found a way to make the tutorial interesting in Battlerite by putting in little surprises here and there. I don't want to spoil anything, but I thought that was really cool, and that really encouraged me to go through the tutorial. Aside of that, there's plenty to do outside of the actual game. You have very detailed descriptions of all the abilities that you can read into to learn more about the characters, down to things like cast time, etc. that I wish other games had. You have loadouts that you can basically optimize for yourself in order to have the best enhanced abilities for your character and your playstyle, which I think is always more fun than just having a standard set and nothing to customize yourself. Then you have different outfits for the characters, you can change their looks with different colors. And likewise, you have different weapons. These you will obviously have to buy for in-game currency, though you won't have to spend any money on that. But if you want all of them quickly, then you obviously can. Furthermore, there are also cosmetics like victory poses for the MVP screen, an own avatar, and certain titles that you can achieve. One really big deal here is the testing range, and I wish more games would have a testing range like this. This testing range pretty much implements everything but a bot enemy. It gives you moving target dummies, attacking target dummies, it gives you an ally target dummy that you can shield, it gives you grouped up target dummies, separate target dummies, it gives you the AWP in the middle, so you can test things on that, and all kinds of things surrounding that which you can utilize. This test mode is excellent to familiarize yourself with new champions, and I think it's a great feature that I wish more games had down to that point. Your champions have a progression system that will reward you for playing them more. There's different things throughout the different stages that are all listed up for you so you don't have any surprises. You have daily and weekly quests for extra rewards, and you have something called the Odeum, which is a way to create highlight clips from your own games. You can literally do them straight in the in-game editor, and that can basically give you some extra attention if you made a really good play. Another really nice feature is that in the list of champions, you will see green thumbs next to beginner champions. It will show you that these champions are good for beginners, their abilities are easy to use, so if you want to start out with those, you have the right pointers right away and don't have to search for other resources first. On the topic of champion unlocks, there are 3 in-game currencies. Gems, which you buy for money, which allow you to buy chest rolls. Then gold, which allows you to buy champions. And I actually forgot the name of the third currency, but it's basically for cosmetics mostly. You can choose to unlock your champions for gold. Each champion is between 950 to 4500 gold. I think this is depending on their release time and their skill level maybe. And there are also special tests, for example, for completing the entire tutorial, which allow you to get some extra characters. To put this in perspective, after playing to level 13, so a fair bit of a grind, I had 3000 gold, so I could have bought 3 champions if I bought the cheapest ones, but not one of the expensive ones yet. Somebody on Reddit posted that it took them 1300 games with a 63% win rate to unlock all champions before the last one, so it is quite a fair bit of a grind, though the games are much shorter than many other games, maybe 10 minutes max approximately, so you should be okay to get the champions that you want relatively quickly. The other option is to get the All Champions pack. That is 28 euros, so it's not out of this world, maybe comparable to Smite's God pack, and it is something that you can definitely consider if you want to play the game a lot and to its fullest and don't want to have that grind. Cosmetics, on the other hand, can be a fair bit more expensive if you want a specific one. One skin chest, one gold chest, which will give you one epic drop and then some other things along with it, will cost you between 1 and 280 euros. And as far as I'm aware, that can still contain a duplicate, so it's a chest system similar to maybe Overwatch. At the moment there is a specific chest for a specific skin or a specific weapon and a random emote together for one character, so if you are sure that you want this skin or this weapon for this character, you can roll that chest and you have a 1 out of 2 chance to get exactly what you want, but actually buying this chest with the cheapest gem deals will make you spend at least 21 euros on this entire chest. And that, in my opinion, for a single skin is pretty damn steep, and otherwise you're just down to the chest lottery basically. You can, however, unlock at least most cosmetics through grinding as well, so if you don't want to spend money on it, you don't have to and you will still be able to get them at some point. Some other positive things that I'd like to point out The kid synergy in this game is amazing. Some characters have very high interactions between their own abilities, which makes them really, really fun, and it feels really fluid. The game itself feels really fluid as well, actually. Very nice animations. It is very quick, and there's even an option to reduce any incoming delay. The game is actually without any internal mouse sensitivity settings, so that it will take the most accurate settings possible from your desktop. So if you don't have any settings on your mouse, you have to adjust the sensitivity outside of the game. And so you can tell that all of this is designed towards a more combat-focused game, like I said, very similar to classic fighting games, as you have this reaction input kind of focus that other games just don't have to the same extent, especially MOBAs. The depth of the game is definitely sufficient. You have a lot to learn, and on the higher level it gets apparently super in-depth, tactical, and very hard to play. So that I think is very interesting. I'm looking forward to maybe get closer to those levels at least. The audio is really nice, the music is really nice in the background, very fitting, a good choice there. And last but not least, multiple character releases are already planned, so the roster is filling it quickly. And there is a roadmap as well for what is planned next in general, which I think is very nice to get a better overview of what's happening. But it wouldn't be a DukeSloth video if I didn't have something to criticize as well, so here are the cons. The map layout. The map is cool, there are different designs for the map and there are nice animations corresponding to that, but the layouts themselves are very similar. You have the circle in the middle, you have those things surrounding them, the orbs, and then you have some walls behind them, and that's pretty much all there is. It doesn't really matter much what the map looks like when all of them kind of feel the same in terms of what you can do on them. Sure, there are subtle differences, but most of the time it seems like those don't really matter, and you can't really play the map very much to advantage. Which I guess is understandable if you want to make everything rely on skill as much as possible, but I just like environment interactions a lot and would like to see maps that make use of that, maybe not for the most competitive modes. Matchmaking seems to not be that great yet. I've been matched against opponents that had no clue how to play the game, and I've been matched against opponents that seem to know everything about the game already, and it felt a bit awkward. I had many even matches as well, but an overwhelming majority of my games included me having a co-player that was a Jade, which is a tutorial character, and I'm like, okay, how often am I gonna see Jade next to me just because that's the next character you played? And then at the same time had opponents that just stomped us completely because they had way more experience with the game, with characters that you have to unlock first before you can even play them. I don't want to lean too far out of the window as I don't have enough experience yet, but from what I've heard from others and read so far, there are quite a few characters that people are not too happy with yet, and some that seem rather unbalanced. I personally felt like it might be that way. I'm not 100% sure though, as I haven't played long enough, so I don't want to throw big claims around here. I'm just saying that it seems like it might not be perfect yet. I understand the idea of not forcing people through a tutorial, but in this game I really wish it would be done. I know that it may deter some people from actually playing the game, but I feel like those are gonna leave sooner or later anyways when they get stumped in their first few matches. The players that actually play the entire tutorial seem to play very differently from those who just basically do the most mandatory part and then go into games, as you get a much better understanding if you've played a few more rounds, and I wish that was just for everyone. But those are literally the only points I have to criticize, and that is my perspective very low. We'll see if that remains the same if I grind the game more. I can highly recommend checking out Battlerite. I have tons of fun playing it, and it's also very fast to play, so you can literally play it while waiting for someone in Smite or maybe being in a rank queue, so that's another plus. And who knows, you may just find yourself as hooked as I am. I will probably make more videos of Battlerite in the future. Let me know if there's any specific topics you'd like to hear me cover in that game. With that, thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, feel free to click the sub button and maybe the bell. It really helps me out, and it gives you the chance to win some codes. This is the place where I plug my stuff, and I'm plugging my Twitch today, twitch.tv/DukeSloth. I'll be streaming tomorrow evening. Exact time isn't sure yet, but it's gonna be afternoon in A time, or noon in A time, and evening EU. So if you want to stop by there, feel free to do so. See you for the next one tomorrow. DukeSloth, out.